Hello there. I want to look at a knife real quick and then at least uh, begin the sharpening and honing process on the blade. But this is a Rough Rider Special Edition knife. It comes in a box like this. Got the magnetic catch. Everybody should be quite familiar with this. This is Rough Rider's 2186. It's the Denim Micarta Half Hawk. It's got a T10 carbon steel blade. T10 carbon steel is really good steel. It is, from my research, almost indistinguishable from 1095 steel unless you have like an electron microscope. So this is good carbon steel. This is a beautiful blade. The Denim Micarta scales are outstandingly beautiful. You have the thinking of shaving, Rough Rider emblem on the bolster. I don't discern any gaps or anything of the sort. It has a half stop and a nice fat hawkbill blade. Has a Rough Rider emblem on this side, and I assume that's China on the back side. China something, and I cannot read it, but I'm pretty sure what that says. And the lined nickel bolsters. You have a half hawk blade. I love these blades because a lot of times on these slip joint knives you can have trouble if you have too many blades on a knife separating between the different knives to lift them up, like on this one, something like that. Okay, there's a short pin blade there if you need a point, but you can just grab the blooming blade like that. It has wonderful, nice pause. You can hear that. Listen. A nice positive half stop. It walks and talks really beautifully. And we're going to put an edge on this blade. This was a gift from Wayne Bean. Thank you, Wayne. Sorry it took so long to do the sharpening on this, but I have been chasing the fall colors with my camera, and that's taken up a lot of my time. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to build an edge on this fine India first. Alright, this steel is very, very hard. I don't know what Rough Rider did to it, but they tempered it well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the coarse side of this stone. I'd love to have a crystal on. This should do it. I like that. If I have to resort to the coarse side of this stone, what it means is this steel is very hard. And I can tell that it's hard by what it's doing, what it feels like as I go across the Very nice. I'm starting to get a burr now. I need to go a little bit more. I can tell that is pretty hard. As I go across the stone, and I like that. It's one of the things that really does remind me of 1095. 1095 is probably my very favorite steel in a knife. I don't care much what the steel is in a blade as long as I can get an edge on it and maintain that edge, but I do have, there is a preference that I have, even almost a prejudice that I have for 1095. I love it. It's a fantastic, and yeah, it's a hard steel because what it's doing is it's creating a really, really fine burr on the blade. So we're gonna turn that burr. And I was working on the fine side of this stone. The video started when I basically said something like, all right, I'm going to turn this stone around. I did several minutes. As a matter of fact, where am I at now? I'm at 18 minutes now. Okay, even with that time cut out. I did several minutes on the fine side of this stone, and it just was not cutting it fast enough for me. And so I switched sides. Because I needed to. And once again, that's a good thing. I don't have any problem with hard steel. That's what it's supposed to be. The 440A steels and other steels, we've had this conversation before. I don't, that's lovely. And it's getting a fine burr on the other side. I use a lot of softer steels. I don't have a problem with them either because just because they're softer don't mean they're not hard enough to be used as to make a decent knife out of them. And quite frankly, a lot of the older type of knives that I grew up were. But there were others where the steel was harder, and most 1095 blades, if you have someone that knows how to sharpen them, or I'm sorry, how to heat treat, and that's lovely. We're going to flip back over now to the fine side. Then you can make 1095 quite hard enough that you'll be very, very pleased with the results. And the thing of it is, that's why you see a lot of if you see a handmade knife, first of all, a lot of times you'll see a carbon blade because it's a forged knife. In my opinion, carbon steel, at least if you compare it to stainless. Now, I don't know about all the super steels, and don't give a rat's hind end. But carbon steel, you can get a very sharp and a very fine type of edge. And you can get the steel really hard, so. That's lovely. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can see or not, but I'm testing the edge on this blade. And it's flipping gorgeous. Alright, we're going to stop there. I need to change the camera. I need to restart the camera because it's fixing to time out. We'll be back with the black. Alright, we're back. This is the black arc, and this is the more matte side of this stone. We're going to refine this edge. And you can do this. You don't have to go to an intermediate stone. One of the things that I would tell you is there's a lot of woodworkers that had a medium India and some type of hard Arkansas, and by hard I mean one of the true hards like this black or translucent, something like that. This stone is more than capable of polishing out, and that is riding on the stone. That's what's making that, hear that scraping noise? See, if I pull it off the stone, doesn't do it. That's called the kicker, I believe. This you can file that down to, if the blade gets too short and there's a gap here at the tip when you close the knife, you can file that down a little to close that gap, that kind of deal. It keeps the edge off of the back spring so that it does not get dull opening and closing it. And I have a memory that's like a steel trap that doesn't work. And so it took me a minute to remember what it was called. In my opinion, for me, I don't really care if I know what it's called. What I care about is that I know what it's for. That's dude, that edge cuts hair so nice right now that I can't even feel it cut. That's gorgeous. I don't really think I need to go any further than that right there. I'm going to flip over to the burnished side for a bit. And what I'm going to do, I don't want a whole bunch of water on there. There's some kind of grid on it. Stand by. A little bit of soapy water. Better. Yeah, that cuts so effortlessly that you cannot even tell that it is cutting the hair. You can hear it, but you cannot feel it. That's flipping lovely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call that good. I could refine a little bit more on the stone, and probably should. I don't think I did more than a dozen passes on this really burnished side, and it cuts slow and yada yada yada. But I really don't see any need to mess with that edge anymore. It's flipping scalding sharp. And so yeah, that's a gorgeous knife. It's carbon steel. It's beautiful, and I'm gonna really enjoy this. I really like, if you look at this blade, you see like the little faux edge. It's got that there, and it echoes it at the pin, on the pen knife. Just lovely. So, thanks, Wayne. That's blooming gorgeous. And I think it'll probably hold that edge for a very long time. I'm not even going to go to chromium oxide paste to a strop. I might go to a smooth leather strop and strop that just to kind of bump it, the smoothness up in it. But it would, in my opinion, it would be really hard to top the smoothness that it's at now, because like I said, I can't even feel it cut. So, alright. Thanks for watching. Bless you. I'll talk to you later.